Welcome back, everybody. So, let me show you a picture from Portland. And I've shown this picture before, and I couldn't figure out what those symbols were. We knew their exoteric meaning, like strength and unity. These symbols next to the eagle, they're bundles of sticks with like an axe or a hatchet in the bundle. And today we're going to learn the story of this symbol and what it truly means. So, before we do that though, seeing as though we have a great little image of history here, we'll put on some music real quick. I don't want YouTube to see the image on the YouTube thumbnail. How unbelievable is that? I have to hide it. Okay. We talked about the age of transportation. Remember, 1826, right here, when canals, turnpikes, steamships, railroads, all that stuff was beginning to flourish. This is around the time of the anti-Masonic Republican Party, 1826. We're going to talk all about it. But we got to listen to that chorus. We got to put ourselves in the shoes. It's coming up right here. Down with the eagle, up with the cross. So what we're looking at here, this bank building in Portland, Maine, of course we have the eagle, right? We have the five-pointed star, the pentagram, facing upwards above it. And when it faces upwards, it sort of has the opposite meaning of the downward-facing Baphomet or, evil star. So when it's facing upward, it's in good intention. It's that as above, so below, the duality, of course. We have the torches on the far side here. And the torches go back to Mithraism. Here's some photos. They do have names, Cottis and Catapatis, I believe their names are pronounced. And there's always one torchbearer holding his torch up and one torchbearer holding his torch down, symbolizing as above, so below, that duality, androgyny. Here's a good picture of them right here. Mithraism was a sun-worshipping Roman religion. Mithra, another name for the sun god back then, was Apollyon, or Sol Invictus at different times throughout the Roman Empire. Basically all worshipping the same ancient pantheons that go back to Egypt. So, but yeah, these symbols here, bundle of sticks with the axe coming out. It's called a fasce. I guess we'll start by reading that on Wikipedia. It's always a good place to start. Oh, and here in Hollowell, Maine, this is the Masonic, satanic cemetery we found, Hollowell, Maine. So the goat head, and that, I just want to show you the torch, right? Just like in Mithraism, just like in tarot, just like on the bank building in the Union, the torch. So it's a universal symbol. All these schools of symbolism really stand for the same thing, which is, Lucifer. And let me show you one more example. Let's do William. I think William Morgan published this. So when William Morgan in the early 1800s came out and exposed some of this stuff, here's a drawing of the Baphomet he made. And you can see the top, there's a torch. And you can see the five-pointed star facing upwards in the position of the third eye. The head of the goat itself represents the downward-facing five-pointed star, the Baphomet, right? That's why it's associated with this. So it's as above, so below. Notice the Baphomet's male and female, androgyny. And the caduceus, or the staff of Hermes, Mercury, or Thoth, which Nancy Pelosi likes to wear on her breast all the time, is the phallus of the Baphomet. As above, so below, solve et coagula, which basically means dissolve and reform and reshape, right? And he's sitting on top of God's firmament. So yeah, this is all these symbols are found on the bank building, right? See how this school of thought is all one? let's talk about the fasci. Okay, it's pronounced fasces, a plurale tantum, from the Latin words fascis, meaning bundle, Italian fascio littorio. It is a bundle of wooden rods, sometimes including an axe with its blade emerging. The fasces is an Italian symbol that had its origin in the Etruscan civilization and was passed on to ancient Rome, where it symbolized a magistrate's power and jurisdiction. The axe originally associated with the symbol, the labrys, the double-bitted axe, originally from Crete, is one of the oldest symbols of Greek civilization. To the Romans, it was known as a bipenis. The image has survived in the modern world as a representation of magisterial or collective power, law, and governance. So that is the EXO, the exoteric meaning of the symbol. The fasces frequently occurs as a charge in heraldry. What is heraldry? It's basically the art, science, history of creating crests, symbols, all that stuff for famous and rich and powerful people. So their crest, their seals, their coat of arms, that's heraldry. It is present on the reverse of the U.S. Mercury dime coin and behind the podium in the United States House of Representatives. We'll look at that. And it was the origin of the name of the National Fascist Party in Italy, from which the term fascism is derived. Hold up. So the term fascism comes from this symbol. That's such a relevant thing to us today, right? Fascism is all over the place. Okay, we're going to get into it. Don't worry. Let me show you. Here's the House of Representatives. We could sit here all day. I already see a Templar cross above the doors, right, on the left and right. See that Templar cross with a 5-pointed pentagram inside of it? And what's it housed in? A hexagram. And what is a hexagram representing? A hex. Star of Remphan. Saturn. So you can see on the left and right of the American flag here is the fasces with the axe. It's a bundle of sticks, and then a wreath symbolizing the serpent, very, very clearly symbolizing a serpent. We have our Masonic pillars, and then look here. We have the caduceus. This is the phallus of the Baphomet that we just saw in Freemasonry. And then the winged globe. There's the eagle, globe with the wings, Isis. So very shocking symbolism when you understand what it truly means, right? So we're talking about the fasces right here. Boom. It's right there. Very important. It gets worse. Hold on. Let me get back to the internet. I think I had some pictures to show you. I guess I'll pull them back up. So Lincoln's really gone through the process of apotheosis. He's been deified by our country, by our textbook history and everything, right? So notice he's enthroned upon this giant marble or granite seat, and look what's on the left and right under each of his hands. The fasces, once again, right? And then outside of the Lincoln Memorial, there are more. Here's some right here. And then we have a fasces with the winged globe, eagle, right? This is crazy, isn't it? Now it's pretty shocking, knowing what all of these symbols truly mean and what they stand for. They all stand for Lucifer, and we're going to find out that the fasces commemorates one of the darkest times in Christianity's history, and it's mockery. It's disgusting. Remember, these people work in opposites, sometimes double opposites, layers of opposites, mockery, and we're going to talk about it. You remember that song growing up? What was it? We all used to sing it, remember? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. Remember that? Pick up sticks. Keep that in mind. And then we have a song called Picking Up Sticks by the English rock singer Paul Weller, who was pretty popular in the 20th century. He chose his symbolism very wisely. But let me find the right picture. Another familiar symbol is going to show itself. I think I scrolled by it. Wait for it. Wait for it. He was wise. He didn't flash his symbols too much, but believe me, when the one symbol he does wear fits right into our story. This music's pretty soft rock. Soft rocky. Here we go. The one symbol he wears is a 5-pointed star, the pentagram, right? In this photo. There was another one somewhere. But Paul Weller wrote a song called Picking Up Sticks. Here are the lyrics of the second verse. Let's swirl again, take us far away, to the church bells chime in a far distant field, to a place where so lately, so slow, in a time I feel like letting it go, far away enough to catch our breath, I know where and everyone there, looking to click, picking up sticks. It's gonna click for yes, don't worry, it'll make sense. We also have a fable by Aesop. You guys remember Aesop from grammar school? We read all of Aesop's fables, including this one. A certain father is called a bundle of sticks. A certain father had a family of sons who were forever quarreling among themselves. No words he could say did the least good. So he cast about in his mind for some very striking example that should make them see that discord would lead them to misfortune. One day, when the quarreling had been much more violent than usual, and each of the sons was moping in a surly manner, he asked one of them to bring him a bundle of sticks. Then handing the bundle to each of his sons in turn, he told them to try and break it. But although each one tried his best, none was able to do so. The father then untied the bundle, and gave the sticks to his sons to break one by one. This they did very easily. My sons, said the father, do you not see how certain it is that if you agree with each other and help each other, it will be impossible for your enemies to injure you. But if you are divided among yourselves, you will be no stronger than a single stick in that bundle. And the theme is unity is strength, just like Wikipedia says, right? Well, we can break it down a little differently. So I'm sure you've all heard about the Inquisition. And now, knowing what you know, let me pull up the Lucifer thing that I made for us. The story of the Inquisition is the story of the Catholic Church slaughtering Protestants, and that's what we're told, right? And I'm pretty sure that's true. Burning Protestants at the stake, all sorts of different Protestants. And where is it? There it is. Let's see here. And we know a lot of this was carried out by the Jesuit order. The Jesuit order was really the active military arm of the Catholic Church. It still is to this day, right? All the missionary work was done under the Jesuits. The Inquisition was done under the Jesuits. They were a downward-facing 5-pointed star organization, now that you know what that means. Pretty evil. But at the same time, we know the symbol on the right, the rosy cross. If you can find it, I can't find it online, but if you can find it on maybe an art museum's website, the original paintings of Martin Luther nailing his theses to the Catholic Church door, he's actually wearing his Rosicrucian vest, signifying that he's a member of the Rosicrucian order, the Rose Order, which is, you know, once again shows us that the people controlling the Jesuits and the Rose Order, both sides, even back then, for all of time, it's all been controlled by one, ultimately, and that one is Lucifer. But in our physical world, it's controlled by people through Lucifer, right? People who worship Lucifer. So whenever we have these conflicting narratives, we have to immediately think there's someone above this controlling both sides of it. And when I say that, let me show you what this symbol really, truly represents. And keep in mind mockery, right? It represents, this is so awful. It's what they've used for forever to burn people at the stake. Specifically the Inquisition, but not only the Inquisition, because sacrifice has always existed. I mean, read the Old Testament, right? A fasce is a bundle of sticks piled at the feet of the sacrifice or at the base of the altar. It doesn't have to be a human. It can be an animal. It can be a plant. It can be something, but basically during the Inquisition, they would tie anybody. They would tie their enemies. I shouldn't say Protestants because we know the true nature of these Jesuits' work. Enemies of the Catholic Church were tied to stakes, and then children and people would take sport in going around picking up the sticks and creating the fasces and then throwing them at the feet of the people who are going to be burnt. And it was fun. That's what it was made fun. It was made sport of, and kids were allowed to do that. And then they would burn the Christians. At the end of the day, they were Christians, right? And this is something that should unify all of us. Knowing that Martin Luther was a member of the Synagogue of Satan and knowing that the Jesuits in the Catholic Church are members of the Synagogue of Satan, we need to be unified, and we need to understand that the Inquisition was truthers probably, right? They were burning people trying to expose the truth. That's at least how I feel. And here you can see the fasces again, the bundles of sticks. They're not just piles of sticks, right? This isn't just a pile of wood thrown at the feet. This is specifically the bundled up fasces of wood. Execution of persons condemned for witchcraft, right? So they would use it against both sides, right? They would use it against, occultists who weren't in power, people who practice the occult amongst the regular people, witches, warlocks, wizards, people like that. And then they would use it against people exposing the true power structure, the truthers of the time. They would use it against enemies of the Catholic Church, enemies of the city of London, or, the Templars back then. Yeah. Pretty awful. And here's another one. You can see the fasces underneath the feet here. Joan of Arc comes to mind. I believe she was burned at the stake, so she would have been burned with the fasces. That's what it represents. Tie them up to the post, and then throughout the morning, kids would go out with little axes, chop down trees, and bundle up sticks, throw them at the bottom. And then the town would gather around, where this would be portrayed as righteous, and this would be portrayed as appeasing God. And the people, just like today, the sheep back then would just accept it. Just like the sheep today, except that 2 planes took out 3 skyscrapers made of steel. Nothing new under the sun. That's how sick all of these people are. This is the penis of the Baphomet on the left. It's the penis of the Baphomet. It's the rod of Hermes and Mercury, the god of thievery and trickery. And if you do enough research, you'll find out that here's the Statue of Liberty as Baphomet. You'll find out that the Bible's quite real. Very certain. The Bible's pretty literal. Something crazy. Truth is stranger than fiction, put it that way. They're paying homage to all these ancient gods, these pantheons of ancient gods, not just Western civilization ones, but these Freemasons, Synagogue of Satan. They worship all the pantheons of these ancient gods, and I think what all these pantheons are just the fallen angels. It's crazy. So yeah, right in front of our faces. A couple months ago, when I made a video, I said I don't know what these symbols are, but I'll find out. So there you go. Down with the eagle, up with the cross. Has a lot more meaning after this video, doesn't it? Pretty crazy. Symbol of government, symbol of power, and a symbol of unity, according to them. It's really a symbol of Lucifer, just like they all are. Awful. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back later. We have more documentary to make. Take care.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.